Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, the mobile university for entrepreneurs. This is the go-to business podcast for educators who want to turn their teacher skills into dollar bills. And I am your host, Dr. Will. Today's guest is none other than Chip Baker. I've been wanting to have him on the show for a while. I've been checking him out from a view, and then I finally reached out and he said yes, and now we have him on the show. And y'all, I am so excited for this interview, and you are going to get some gems and learn a lot from this interview. So while you got some time, get yourself a pen, some paper, get your favorite beverage, and get ready to be blessed this episode. So for those who be listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Simplecast, Stitcher, Spotify, and Audible, will you please introduce yourself, Chip Baker?
First off, Dr. Will, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I consider it an honor and a privilege to be here with you. Love your work, love what you do, love what you're about, and same sentiments. I've been excited for this opportunity to get to chop it up with you, Doc. And so just wanted to say that first, but I am Chip Baker. I'm a fourth generation educator, teacher, former coach. Going into my 27th year of education, I coached for 20 of those years, football and powerlifting. And I'm here in Texas, and that's been a blessing. That journey's been great. Done all things leadership development, leadership groups, been assistant principal, athletic director. So done a lot under that time frame. About 9 years ago, I started my YouTube channel and podcast, the Success Chronicles. And what I do is I just interview people from all walks of life and share their stories for positive inspiration and motivation. That's truly been a blessing as well. And then a couple of years after that, I started writing books. And a few of those have been bestsellers. And so that journey has been amazing. And that brings us to where we are now.
All right. So I'm always curious to how people got to where they are. What did you think you were doing when you were growing up? And how did you find yourself in education?
Oh, that's awesome. As far as my career, I'm doing exactly what I thought I would be doing. I worked my whole life to do this, right? And the reason I say that is, like I said, I'm a fourth generation educator. Mom was a retired educator. Grandmother was a retired educator. Great grandmother was a retired educator. And I tell people this, you'll understand this from where you're from in the South. I come from a family of church folk. And educators, that's with no S on it, right? So when you don't put the S on it, that means we did church for real, right? And so my mother was the minister of music in our churches, and my grandmother was a minister of music as well. So I say that because with the church background, with the education background, I was taught at a young age that it's about giving service, right? And so in my household, in my community, those were the things that I was shown. And so I knew that in my life, I would be doing something of giving service. And then I just attached the sports to that as well. Played 4 sports for 4 years in high school, played college football. And so, I attached the sports to that service piece. And so now that has made me who I am today. And that's why I do what I do. And so, like I said, Doc, I've worked my whole life to do this, exactly what I'm doing, right, as far as my career.
So take us back to what inspired the Success Chronicles. What moment or what happened that inspired you to come across this journey?
I think it's a couple of things. Organically in what I did in my career, I was the game pep talk guy. I was the give them the pep speech, and prepare them, so that was preparing me, right? Organically, I was learning skills to deliver. Like, I love great orators. I love hearing great speakers. So that was preparing me to connect. I love having conversations with great people. I've been blessed to have some of those throughout my life. And so I just got to a point, love music, love technology, strive to be a creative. And so I really just have brought all of those things together, and it's helped me make the Success Chronicles. And so, because I do so much, I'm always tired. I don't have a problem sleeping at all, Doc. But like, there's been about 3 or 4 times in my life where I was up because I had some thoughts going on, and that means that something is about to brew in me. And the Success Chronicles was one of those things. And so, like, man, my very first video, I remember I did in the middle of the night. I woke up, it was like 3 a.m. I did my very first video. I just wanted to just put out some things that inspired others and bring all of those talents and experiences and things that I've been blessed to, check out and do, bring all it together and just hope to be a positive influence on the world.
So you built a brand around success. How do
Yeah.
you personally define it, and how has that evolved since you wrote your first book?
That's good. That's a good question. I think at the moment, my definition of success, because it changes. Like success, I think success is a culmination of little successes, right? So each moment of each day, we have to take the steps to be the best versions of ourselves. And I think really it's just accomplishing the things that you set out to do that fulfill you, right? Just if I had to put an umbrella over it all, I would just say, just looking at the priorities of what you have in your life at that current moment, right? Because priorities and different things shift as you grow, right? But I think at that current moment, what's important to you, are you making progress in that? And then you could consider that a success. And so it builds, in this moment, I want to work towards these goals, accomplish these 3, 4 goals today. Then, man, that's a success for me, right? So I think that that's what it's been for me. And then what was the second part of the question that you asked? I want to make sure I get you a good answer on that.
How has it evolved since you wrote your first book?
Oh man, in a major way. Oh my gosh. I think my first book, like first of anything, you're just proving to yourself that you can do it. And so I was super excited, super stoked. And now, people say, hey, which book should I buy of your books? And she think, hey, get the newest one because I'm the most seasoned. Right? Don't get that first one. Right. Get the newest one I just put out. It's the best one, right? I'm real seasoned right now. But the first one, man, I just, and at the time, just like, I talked about with the definition of success, I was doing the best that I could do at that time. And then when I got to the second one, then I was able to do a little better, right? And so, success builds, and that's how everything is, but you can't be afraid to, you told them to take notes, get ready to take notes. They need to take notes on this. You can't be afraid to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And what I mean by that is, like, I know that each moment I have to push myself to be a better version of myself, and not just do that for me, right? But do that so I can be the best version of myself for others. And that's what I've strived to do in the book.
So I know a lot more educators are writing books, but few of them actually turn that into a business.
Yeah.
How did you know, or when did you realize that you could actually make the Success Chronicles into not only a book, but turn it into a platform?
I think that's just the core essence of who I am, right? Like, I just believe that if you're going, and I was taught this actually, I was made to do this as a kid with my disciplinary mom anyway. But I was taught that, like, boy, if you're gonna do something, you do it right or don't do it at all, right? And so that's what I was taught in my life. And so uh, anytime I strive to do anything, there's a long-term plan for it, right? Like, I'm not just saying, hey, I just want to mess around with this or try this. No, anything I do, I'm super intentional about it, right? It means something to me. I'm not gonna waste my time doing something if I can't, commit to it, right? So if, I want people to know that if Chip Baker is saying yes to something, you know what you're gonna get from him, man. He gonna give you his all. He gonna show up early. He gonna give you a great attitude. He gonna give you his all. Without a shadow of a doubt, he gonna give you more than you expect. And so for me, that's what it was about. Um, not just, I don't know, doing anything surface, but doing things that have substance, if you will.
So how do they go about making that move, right? Because I've told people
Yeah.
who've been on the show, like, writing the book And as crazy as this may sound, writing the book is the easy part.
Yeah, hey, I was just about, I couldn't even let you finish, Doc. I was gonna, I couldn't even let you finish because I was gonna say the same word. Hey, that's the easy part, bro. Like, that's nothing.
Like, because once it's out, like the real work begins, right?
The
So
real work begins
how
if
does
you're doing it
someone,
right.
right? Yeah. So
If you're doing it the right way.
how does someone once, because to me, you want to start thinking about this book becoming a business before the book actually gets
Right.
published, right? But how does someone begin to say, okay, I got this book. This book is going to become a speaker series, a master class, a book study, etc.
Yeah.
Right? How do they begin to sort of visualize that and put plans together and actually make that happen?
You know what's crazy is, exactly like you said, think about all of those things beforehand. So like in several of my books are compilation books. And so the beauty of it is I've been able to kind of coach people on this as well. So like, going into it, I've told people, hey, think about when you're doing your writing, think about something that you want to use to teach from, being an educator, right? Think about, don't just say, hey, I'm just writing this just to write for a book, right? Know that there are other things that can come from it. So, use it to develop your products, use it to push your products. Like, take it back to, I'm writing this chapter, but I write this chapter and I speak, in your chapter, talk about your experience of being a speaker, just different things. And then I think just like anything, organically, when you see great things happen, when you just take the step and you start doing it, get some motion, then you say, well, oh, yeah, I can use this for this. Oh, wait, we can do this. Like, so man, lots of things, we've done book tours, speaker series. I do a speaker series at the community college here, the impact of influence. So lots of things come from it, but I think you have to take the first step towards it, right? So like if I don't write the chapter or write the book, then there's no way that I'll know what comes on the other side of that if I don't do that. So I think the first thing is just take the first step of doing the writings and learn the things that you're supposed to learn within that. And then from there, I think organically those other things will come to you.
Mm. Well, you've built a strong online and media presence. I've seen
Yeah.
you being interviewed on TV, and I'm like, all right,
Yes, sir.
that's next level. I'm like, what? I'm like, hey, when that's gonna happen for me? I'm like, look at you. Uh,
Yeah.
how much content creation? How much does that play into your business model?
Oh, big time. But I think the word that comes up for me when you ask that question, Doc, is relationships. Everything is built on relationships, and then from the relationships, opportunities bring opportunities, right? So I can't tell you, just like you said, man, I saw this cat doing an interview, like that's next level, right? I can't tell you how many of my friends that I grew up with that are business owners that say, well, hey man, I see you have a book and you speak. I love you have you come speak to my company, right? Or, some of my college teammates that are athletic directors. Hey man, I see you do this, man. Like I want to use your character development program for my athletes. Or this is aging myself a little bit here, Doc. You'll understand this. So now, I got students that are head coaches and athletic directors or big time businessmen, right? And this is the true testament of why you never mistreat anybody, because you never know who you'll need to help you. Now those, some of those guys and young ladies are bringing me in. Hey, coach, I know what you did to help me. I want you to come in and pour that into my kids, or in my organization, in my car dealership. I run this department, and I want you to come in and speak and do some team building with these, with my guys to develop them. So it's all about relationships, right? It's all about, striving to do things the right way, and striving to be a good dude, you know, striving to give your all in everything you do. And organically, the byproduct of that is that opportunities come from that. And I can tell you, um, none of this has all just been about Chip Baker. It's been about a whole lot of people, showing me the way, showing me what it is, helping me along the way, and then a whole lot of people giving me some opportunities because they believe in me too, you know. And so, you know, when you say the business model, I just think it's so important to develop those quality relationships, being a good person, striving to give your all in every opportunity that you have, because from that you never know where the next opportunity is going to come from.
Mm. So you just mentioned how you have these relationships and they are helping you grow and scale your speaking. Uh, when you saw that your success started to grow and your brand get bigger and bigger and more opportunities started to come about, at one point did you realize that it was time to scale? And what were some of the biggest challenges in you doing so?
That's good. Um, I think that goes back to your priorities, right? Because some things that were important to me when I dropped my first book are not as important to me now, right? There's some growth. You know, as you grow, oh, this good. So just like a plant, in the plant, uh, you have to prune the plant so that you have good growth, if you
Mm.
will, right? And so in our life, it's like that as well. If we want to have good growth, we have to go through the process of pruning our business, go through the process of pruning in our personal lives. You know, there's some things that we could do when we were younger because we had time, but we could do those things. You know, now, you know, when you have a family and you're developing things, like, bro, I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I don't, that's some child stuff I used to do, right? And so it's the same thing in business. You have to find those ways to have that personal growth and make time for it. So just like you talked about, how we talked about in the interview, how there's been different things. You know, in my first book, it wasn't a lot of interviews. You know, it wasn't a lot of all of those stuff that you see now, right? Um, with my cycle of my interviews, you know, I was able to do, you know, lots of interviews on my podcast and do all of those things and move around when I'm getting more stuff on the plate. Well, then now I got to separate some things. Okay, on Mondays I do interviews. On, you know, Thursdays I do, you know, people interview me, or, you know, Saturday mornings I write. You know, so you have to be cognizant about your time and continue to have growth with your priorities. And that's what has been the blessing and has really helped me. I'm really disciplined on structuring my time, and I think that's really helped me.
Mm. That's all right. That's all right. And how are you, I guess, either outsourcing or
Mhm.
building the infrastructure for things in the business to get done, whether it's the website, the graphics, because I see the gear, go get it, right? I see that.
Yeah,
And
man.
I'm like, dog, that looks nice. I'm like, okay, I need to get me something. I need to get me something. And right. And so when you looking at all of this, uh, how does that get put into place? Because I know that's not a one man show. So when does someone sit back and say, okay, I need to get that assistant, or I need to bring in contractors, or I need to
Yeah.
set these systems in place so that the business can grow and that I am not owning another hobby or a second job?
Oh man, I think Coach Doc, that question right there is the difference between you being stagnant and you having the growth that you want to have, right? So I think and it's funny you asked me that because I had a conversation with somebody just this morning about how, like, a lot of times as movers and shakers, you want to have growth. You know, you're always looking for growth, and very rarely do you stop and reflect and be grateful for where you are.
Mm.
You know, and so, and reflect on the processes like you're asking me, you know, with the questions. And so I think again, I'm gonna go back to relationships. You know, on the teacher educator budget, it's a whole lot of things we can't do. You know, like when you look at all that stuff, we can't afford to buy all those expensive cameras and all of the, so we have to make sure that we do the research, and when we, you know, invest in something, we have to know that it's a great investment. It's going to help us have that growth. You know, have to make smart decisions. That's the first thing. And I think the second part of that is, again, going back to the relationship piece. So like all of the things, there's so much out there that you can do when you talk about outsourcing, like Fiverr and all those different things. But there's a lot of people that I know that do all of those things too. And I'm big on supporting my people, right? So I'll just put it like this. Most of the stuff that I do that you see is put out by me, right? A lot of the stuff I do, like I've learned like the ins and outs of the editing and all, like I do all of that. But man, we released a documentary a couple months ago, and some of those high quality pictures and videos that you see, that's one of my former athletes. And we
Nice.
have a documentary about our journey, and he produced it and put it all together, right? And so like I've been able to learn some things from him on how to do some things. My t-shirts, some of my merch, my sister does t-shirts, so I help give her some business, right? So look out for my family, right? My books, I do it through a self-publishing company, Woods Works Publishing. And that guy, he and we coached together back in the day, right? And so we've grown a relationship. He's been in most of my books. And so we learned some of the processes and procedures, and we figured those things out. And now he's my publisher, right? And so, all of those things, when you have people like that in your corner, they won't let you fail because they know that you love them and they love you, right? I just put it like that. Like, man, them people that I just named, just those three people, man, they will go above and beyond to make sure that Chip Baker don't fail. And I am so grateful. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot more. Those are just three. Those are just three examples. But it's a lot. It's a lot more people that they just believe in me, man, and they trust me. They got love for me. They got my back, and they will not let me fail. And so if it's things that like, like take example, like my guy Woods with Woods Works Publishing, there's been some opportunities where like I'm like, man, yeah, this is like, no, they gonna have to pay you. Like like he with my like, man, I don't mind giving certain no, they gonna have to pay you. You're like, okay, well, they gonna have to pay me, right? And then he does the transactions and take care of all of that for me, and he took care of me. And so just those kind of things, when you got people in your corner like that, you have to have people in your corner like that will look out for you because they know that you will look out for them. And so when anybody asks me, hey man, how you do your book stuff? Hey, let me connect you with my guy. I'm sending people to him all the time. Right? Hey man, I like your t-shirts, your merch, man. Who you? My little sister. I'll give you her number. Here it is. Give her some business, like those kind of things. And when you do that, like my guy Gabe, he goes with me. When I do like my speaking engagements, he videos, he travels with me, all of the stuff. He does man, I'm telling you, like that guy's a beast with the camera. And so, like all of those things, man, I'm looking at Doc, I'm looking at some of these pictures, this video he put together. I'm like, who is that? Man, you make me look good. Yeah. But man, I'm just blessed to have great people in my life that believe in me. But then also I can say this is because I've strived to do things the right way and strive to pour into them. And it's crazy how those things come back to you when you strive to do those things in your life.
All right. So your newest book, The Path for Coaches,
Yes, sir.
tell us what it's about. What makes this one different from your previous books?
So the Path for Coaches Mentoring is the first in my newest series, right? So the first series I did was The Impact of Influence. And we did 10 volumes of that. And the last one was Legacy. It was about legacy. And so, being an educator, being a coach, we know that there's so much needed in the profession to help people be better, right? To move the profession forward, right? Resources, all of those things. And so I partner with Coach Armando Jacinto. He's a former longtime athletic director in a super successful district here in Texas, Spring ISD. And they got guys and people that play in professional sports, like big time now, And so we always just had those conversations about, okay, what are the needs? Like, what are we seeing? Like, what are some of the things that people, the deficits, right? And so mentoring was the first thing that we talked about. And so that's the first book. So I brought together some authors, some pretty powerful people that have some great experience, and they just talk about mentoring, the definition of mentoring, what it means, talks about some examples of how mentoring has been beneficial to them. And so I'm really proud of that book because there's some super gems in there You think about the success personally that you had. All of us, when we reflect on that, it's because somebody has shown us the way and mentored us to that, right? And so when you know what that feels like to receive that, you want to give that to someone as well. And so really that's just kind of the gist of the book, mentoring, the path for coaches, mentoring.
Mm. Now you don't know this, and so I'm going to tell you this. I was working on my book,
Mm-hmm.
The Entrepreneur, and I was just trying to figure out, all right, how am I going to put this thing together? Because I knew that I wanted to put in some narratives from other educators into my book,
Okay.
and I did not know how to do it.
Okay.
And then I came across your books, and then I was like, all right, now I got a roadmap, right? Now I got a roadmap.
That's
And
awesome.
and the cool thing about it is when people read my book, one of the things that people highlight about it is when they talk about, hey, I love how you bring in the voices of those educators who have created those businesses and you have their stories in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I want to let you know that. And that brings me to ask you, what is your advice? What will you tell an educator who would like to write a book, right? How do they start? And how do they not fall in the trap
Mm-hmm.
of writing the book and walking away?
That's good. Um, I think the first thing is, if you're thinking about doing it, do it. All right. I think the beauty of it is, as an educator, as far as setting up, planning, you do it every day anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like you prepare lessons, you write notes, you take notes. So really, you're preparing, you're reflecting each moment of each day. You might as well just put it in a book and share it with the world so people can be inspired from it, right? Your journey is inspiring. And so, in knowing that, I think that inspires us and motivates us to get it done, if you will. But then also knowing this, man, and here's one thing, and I'll share this on your podcast. I kind of shared a little bit of that earlier. Man, going back to relationships piece on my podcast, I interviewed this guy, Dr. Oliver T. Reed from DC area. Amazing, amazing guy. I didn't know at the time that he had a business partner and they help people write books and they, self-publish. And I didn't know that. I was just interviewing him. And so we hit it off. He's like, man, you ever thought about putting your stuff in a book? I was like, yeah, I thought about it. Yeah, it's been a goal, a bucket list goal. He's like, man, I love to help show you how to do some of that. And so he kind of showed me, and we wrote my first two books together. And so he hit me with this concept, and it changed my life, doc. It changed my life because he was like, you speak, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, when you speak, like you prepare, like you do your research and you prepare and you write your points down. And you don't. I'm like, yeah. Um, and then you develop just like lessons from that. Uh, yeah. And so he was asking me these questions. He's like, well, hey, that's you're developing, like, from one speech, you can develop, like he told me, like 6 or 7 uh ways to bring in income from that one thing. I was like, what? Right. And so he talked about, hey, like, okay, you got the speech, that people gonna pay you to speak. You can do the points, you can do workshops, you can do just different things. You can put it in a book and make a book, right, from it. Then you can do a workbook. Right. And so he was just going down, you can have a podcast that pertains just to that and have people to talk about just that. And so I was like, it blew me away. Like it really blew me away. And it opened my mind to like the possibilities, because like I was just thinking, oh, okay, well, let me get this stuff down so I can publish just a book. Right. I say just a book. But I mean, I was just excited to have a book. I never had a book. But just opening my mind to the possibilities, like giving me a different perspective on things. It really helped me see that all of those things are possible. And I've just strived to work that plan, just try to look at it. I think that, that's what I wanted to share, when you ask the question, because I want, the educators to know that like it's limitless possibilities from it, right? It's not just writing a book, if you will, but there's other things that can come from it. You speak at conferences, you can do all of the different things. And really what, Doc, this is good too, and that I've found is, when you write the book, now you're the expert, right? Because you've lived, like, even in the podcast, you asked me about my books, the path for coaches. Now I'm the expert on the path for coaches mentoring, well, I am, because we've done the research and we've prepared, and we've done all of the things to put it down, and we've talked to people, and we went through the process. So yeah, it kind of makes you an expert in that thing. And so now that's your lane. And just like you said, like from afar, I had no clue that you even saw the stuff that I was doing, and it helped you. And that blessed my heart to hear that. Right now, that inspires me to, like, man, keep pushing, keep pushing. So, I just challenge, those educators, man, if you're thinking about doing it, do it. If you think you can't do it, let me assure you that you can. I want to be the evidence and the research of that you can. I come from a small hometown in Texas. I didn't grow up around people that wrote books. I'm just excited to be an author. Like I tell people this, Doc, when I speak, like, of a real book, man. Like, you look in the book, and man, it's got like a real ISBN number in there. Like, it's a real book, like real books, Doc. And so you can do it. And I just, man, encourage you and empower you, educators. Please do it. You're making a huge difference in the classroom, in your communities, but it helps you get more on a global scale so more people can see the amazing work that you do.
All right, all right. I want to close this podcast out with asking you about Go Get It. What does it mean to live a legacy?
So a lot of times when people say legacy, right, the first thought is, and just so you know, man, it gave me chills when you asked me that, because that's huge to me, right? Um, um, when you say legacy, people think about what I leave behind, right? The things like, what are people gonna say about me when I'm gone, right? What are the things? But I believe, first off, no significant success is achieved. It's gonna come to you, right? You got to go get it and make it happen, right? And when you live intentional, and when you live on purpose, with the purpose, then you live a legacy by your day-to-day actions, right? And so there's never a dull moment in your days, because you're waking up every day excited to go make a positive difference. And for me, that's what it's about, right? You have to go get it, which allows you to live a legacy by your day-to-day actions.
Hey,
Come on.
I look, I love that. This is when I talk to educators about this thing that I'm doing around here, and the one thing I tell them, that you don't have to start a business, but I do want you to think of yourself as a business of one, because I need you to think that you have complete ownership over your life.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because I don't want you waking up and dreading that Monday morning, right? Because for those of us who work in education, because we're going to be transparent right now, all of us done been around folks in the copy room, the teacher lounge, in the hallway. They complaining, right? They don't want to be there, right? It is what it is. We know what goes down. We know what go down in them schools. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it can get rough. It can get hard, and sometimes you got to dig deep to remember your why. But regardless, I want people to wake up and be excited to go to work, right? I want them to get up and go, today I get to do X, Y, and Z, and
Yeah.
so when you say that, I'm like, yes, I want people to have that feeling, right? I want people every day to be just ready to, just like you say, go get it and go make it happen and make the impact that they were born to make.
Yeah, you said something, 2 words in all of that you said, that stuck out to me, that I want to remind your audience of, is get to, right? So many times, and it's a mindset shift, right? And those that are on the side of, oh, I have to get up, oh, I have to go to work, oh, I have to do this. Nah, bro, you get to, right? Because when we understand it, like it's a privilege for us to be able to do those things, knowing that what you do on a day-to-day basis, it makes a difference, right? You're important. The way you show up with a smile on your face and a cordial attitude, it makes a difference in the lives of the people that you're blessed to be around. And so it's a shift in perspective from have to get to. And when you understand that, now you get to wake up early and you get to go be with those kids and you get to go work long hours and give your all and be really tired, right? And you get up and do the same thing tomorrow, right? But when you understand that you get to, like, you know that like your life is purpose filled, you know that your life, what you do on a day-to-day basis makes a difference. Like, you don't have an issue, you don't have a problem with getting up and doing those things because you understand you get to, and it's not a have to thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, that's why I just tell folks, if where you at ain't give you that feeling,
Yeah, do something different.
do something different, or go find
Yeah.
you another position, another school district, another
Yeah.
school that'll give you, that feeling, that sense of belonging, that sense of purpose. But don't just
Oh man.
dwell, in that sorrow all the time. That's not
One of
good.
the one of the best leaders that I had when he was a principal, long time, very successful coach. And I love this. I worked on his staff for probably 8 years, right? And I love every year I knew this conversation was coming at the beginning of the school year, right? And I look forward to him saying it because I knew it was coming. And he said this, at this campus, we're gonna have a good time and we're gonna love kids, right? And so if you, are not about that, if you don't feel like that's your jam, right? If you can't be on that train to be able to do that, hey, like don't like life is too short to be happy, right? Like let me help you get somewhere else where you can find your jam if it's not here. But if you are here, then the expectation is for us to have a good time when we come to work. And man, we're gonna love kids. We're gonna love on kids, right? And so that's the expectation. You need to hear that from me, your leader. That's what I believe, and that's what we're gonna do. And like that energized me because that showed me, okay, I'm with that. I'm on that train. Let's go. And so and it's straightforward too. Like, man, life is too short to be unhappy. Like let's put you in a situation that makes you happy. Maybe like I'm not naive enough to know that like some people don't like that. And that's okay. Right? But let me help you get somewhere where it's best for you, where it's the best fit for you. But if you're here, I'm expecting you to be on that train. And if you're not, then it's gonna be a problem. Right? So I mean, I love that, and I think that that's really what it's about. I mean, man, people just put yourself in the best situation for you and your family, for those situations that work best for you. But then also understanding that that's why we do it. It's to help others. It ain't about you. My mom used to tell me that, Doc. Boy, it ain't about you. At the end of the day, it's bigger than you. Like it's not about you. Right? It's about the organization. It's about the system. It's about what we're gonna do to help others and build others up, develop these relationships, help the community. It's a bigger purpose than you. And so I think when you can understand that, it's no problem to give service because you know what the service is about.
That's all right. Thank you, Chip, for coming on the show.
Yeah, Doc. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Now, people, hey, you know how I do this. This podcast episode is going to be on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Simplecast, Stitcher, Spotify, and Audible. I need you to subscribe and to share with your network. And though I'm on all major podcast platforms, I need you to listen on Apple Podcasts because I'm trying to grow, right? So leave your stars, leave your reviews because I'm trying to be found because I'm trying to get Oprah on the show because I want her to know that we're doing big things around here. Again, I'd like to thank my guest, Chip Baker, for coming on and dropping so many gems, and for you for checking out another episode of the Dr. Will Show in season 11. As always, people, invest in you. EDU. Peace.